Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? NFL scouting combines going on right now in Indianapolis, and one of the big talking points around the combine on this day, when coaches kind of had their sort of all held court there in Indianapolis, was the future of the quarterback position for so many places. It seems as though, according to many reports, that the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers are starting to find some common ground and maybe, just maybe, are going to work through their differences to keep Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. If that happens, that would seemingly remove one possible option for New Orleans, although I think it would be a long shot. And what is starting to crystallize more and more is that Jameis Winston actually is the front runner to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints week 1 in the 2022 season. The other big name that we've kept an eye on and talked about really for almost a year now is Russell Wilson. And Pete Carroll, when he met with the media today in Indianapolis, said of a meeting he had with GM John Schneider there in Seattle, quote, "At this time of year, there's conversations about everybody. We're talking about everybody. And that's commonplace for us to have conversations with teams about all of the players, particularly marquee players. That's not changed. It's been the same every year we've been here, so it's the same as it's been. We have no intention of making any move there," meaning of Russell Wilson. But the conversations, John has to field those. He always has, but nothing specific to that. So there are no conversations and no interest of moving, as he said it, no intention. They have no intention of moving Russell Wilson. If the offer they can't refuse comes, then you listen. But if that offer doesn't come, then they stick with Russell Wilson, who's still under contract in Seattle, although the Seahawks are coming off their first losing record since Wilson took over at quarterback in 2012. So if Aaron Rodgers is off the table and Russell Wilson appears to be off the table, what are you left with? Are the options that are theoretically out there better than the option you have? Are you really convinced that doing a deal with Jimmy Garoppolo is better, like giving up assets to get Jimmy Garoppolo is a better option than signing Jameis Winston? Because I'm not. I think physically Jameis Winston is a better player, and he's been in your building the last 2 years. He knows the locker room. He knows the culture. He knows the coaching staff. He knows the talent. He knows the offense. He and Pete Carmichael have a working relationship, and you're about to get him healthy and with his best weapon in Mike Thomas back and theoretically drafting a receiver. The circumstantial evidence surrounding this tells you kind of what you need to know, which is you start to see all these mock drafts, which had the Saints taking a quarterback, now are all kind of shifting to the Saints taking a receiver. We talked about Mel Kiper, who's got the Saints taking Garrett Wilson, trading up from 18 to 14 to take Garrett Wilson. Today at the Combine, they spoke with Chris Olave, the other wide receiver from Ohio State. Of course, they're going to do their due diligence on all of these players there, but when your options, when the marquee options start to wane and you're left with that next tier of veteran quarterback, whomever that may be, or re-signing Jameis or drafting a quarterback, if there isn't if you're not picking in the top 5 where you know you're going to get an elite prospect in a heavy draft class, like would have been the case maybe a year ago, then are you really sitting there at 18 feeling like you have much leverage to get a marquee quarterback prospect in this draft? And I don't even know if that guy exists in this year's draft. And if you're looking at a project, you drafted one a year ago. I'm not telling you that I think Ian Book's going to become a franchise quarterback someday in the NFL, but he's a project seemingly like anybody else you might draft in this year's class. It looks more and more like they're sticking with Jameis. And what's even more interesting is when you start to look around, a lot of these teams that need quarterbacks are in similar situations, kind of shrugging their shoulders, going, "What do we do?" Bruce Arians, they've seen Tom Brady now walk into retirement, and Bruce Arians was asked this question today about Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert.
Will you be okay going into next season with Trask and, let's say, Blaine Gabbert as guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd be very, very comfortable, because they know what they're doing. They've both shown they can do it. And so, yeah, and with our defense, they know what we want out of our quarterback.
Kyle Trask hasn't shown you anything. He's not played. Blaine Gabbert is 11 years into his career, and he started in Jacksonville. And I'll grant you, he went to an awful organization, the worst organization in the NFL. But he went from Jacksonville to San Francisco to Arizona to Tennessee, and now has been in Tampa the last 2 seasons. But he's never – he threw for 2,200 yards his rookie season, and then in 2015 in San Francisco, he threw for 2,031 yards. That's the most he's ever thrown for. Neither of those guys have shown you they can do it. Jameis has. Jameis has a 5,000-yard season under his belt. He started more than 70 games in his career. That's a guy that's shown you he can be a competent starting quarterback. The question is, can he be a championship starting quarterback? And I don't know that you have a better option sitting out there that's proven that if Rodgers and Wilson aren't available. The more this goes along, the more it's pointing to the Saints going heavy to make Jameis Winston their guy for the future and for the now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.